large games use Linux to produce your Windows binaries. It's not just Valve, but a large portion of AAA relies on Linux. And they rely on Linux for build servers. Large games, they take a long time to turn from a project into a single binary for you to load up on Steam. And this process is called compilation. And a lot of these large games have very large C++ code bases that are extremely compute intensive. Just for reference, Tim Sweeney's computer has 1 terabyte of RAM, but even that's not enough. Epic Games made their own build server tool called Horde. Linux is clearly assumed as the default OS for this kind of thing.
With Horde specifically, we use Linux and Wine as UBA agents.
And the way this works is you have a bunch of server nodes that then tells what a bunch of client nodes what to do. And surprisingly, Linux handles almost everything from telling every node what to do and even handling asset processing, shader compilation, and automated testing.
You know, we not only have used Linux in terms of deploying a service footprint, but we also, we just use it internally. So we've got all of our source code, all of our models, all of our animations, all of the assets are all being run on top of Linux.
Everything it can do without Windows specific stuff. And then everything else that's Windows specific, such as like the actual compilation of the C++ code for Windows, that's handled usually by a Windows client that is being managed by a Linux computer. Now, why is Epic Games, despite allegedly hating Linux, and the rest of AAA for large video games, choosing Linux for their build farms? So the first reason is that Linux, it just works. All right. The most annoying thing for me when using Windows is when you got the random shutdowns. Linux also has its own issues with random error messages that Windows resolves for consumers behind the scenes, but Linux is just unmatched when it comes to power management and stability. And Windows, it is not very good at that. Like, just anytime you have something that's super compute intensive, Windows all of a sudden rage quits and decides, okay, yeah, we're going to turn everything off for you. But Linux, though, you can just leave it running for days and not worry about it.
We go a year, we love the performance, we love the reliability and robustness of it.
And number 2, the tooling is where Linux is a first-class citizen. Like, gaming on Linux is like programming on Windows. Technically, you can do it, but it's a massive uphill battle to get something working for most people. Jenkins is one example of a tool that a lot of other studios use to create something similar to what Epic Games has. And tools like these assume that you are using Linux. Now, Windows does have WSL to make the experience of this stuff much easier, but this doesn't make up for the third reason, which is Linux is just cheaper at scale. So there's no license fee per installation, and this scales when you have 50 to 150 nodes that are pretty standard for a super large game. Sometimes at 500 plus nodes in peak periods.
We take advantage of AWS spot instances. We use Linux and Wine as UBA agents to minimize costs. Year over year, our costs keep going down despite making more and more builds. So it has really been one of the key cost savers for Horde and for Epic.
That's the salary of a software engineer you're saving by not using Windows, just from licensing fees alone. And the tooling saves the teams a ton of time, which saves AAA teams from needing to hire an entire team of software engineers to get similar results that are inferior to battle-tested coding that just works on Linux. Game developers still do most of their game development on Windows, but for getting that executable ready for release, Linux is a crucial component for AAA build farms. To meet deadlines and create those Windows executables for you to enjoy on Steam or whatever launcher you use. Don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts down below.